When you think of NSYNC, what image springs to mind? Perhaps it's the synchronized dance moves, the frosted tips, or those catchy hooks that defined a generation. But beyond the glittering facade lies a more intricate story of motivation, pressure, and the relentless pursuit of identity within a whirlwind industry. NSYNC wasn't just a boy band, they were a cultural phenomenon, a crafted image rewarded by audiences and industry giants alike. But what did they have to protect, prove, or perhaps even hide? At the heart of NSYNC's story is the Enneagram, a lens through which we can explore their public persona. Not a diagnosis, but a framework to understand their core motivations. Imagine them as a Type 3, the achiever, driven by a relentless need to succeed, to be validated by their accomplishments. Their glittering public image was a testament to this drive. But behind the scenes, what were they avoiding? What vulnerability lay hidden beneath the bravado? The achiever fears failure above all, and in an industry that thrives on appearances, the stakes were high. The ecosystem that shaped NSYNC was as dazzling as it was demanding. The music industry, with its promise of fame and fortune, created an environment where the public persona became paramount. It was a world where the mask of perfection was not just worn, but celebrated. The audience's adoration was a double-edged sword, rewarding the role, but rarely acknowledging the person behind it. The pressure to maintain that image was immense, reinforced by the very structure of their success. The label, the media, the fans. Each element played a role in sustaining the facade, while also tightening the noose of expectation. Within the group, relationships were both a source of support and tension. Allies and rivals emerged as each member negotiated their place in the spotlight. The dynamic was complex, marked by camaraderie, but also competition. The roles they played within the group were as much about public image as personal identity. Justin Timberlake might have been the face, but that role came with its own pressures of being continually in the limelight, while others like J.C. Chases or Chris Kirkpatrick navigated the balance between visibility and support. The public mask they wore was a carefully curated blend of charisma and accessibility, yet the private pressure told a different story. What the audience saw was the polished performance, the effortless charm. But what did that role demand behind the scenes? The need to constantly perform, to never let the mask slip, cultivated a tension between their public and private selves. In the shadow of their success lay the fear of obsolescence, of being replaced, a narrative all too familiar in the world of pop music. The very gifts that propelled NSYNC to stardom became their potential downfall. The charisma that captivated millions could easily become a trap, locking them into roles that limited personal growth. The pathway to integration, to self-awareness, required acknowledging this shadow, transforming the need for external validation into a more grounded self-acceptance. Yet, how many in their position truly achieve this? The path is fraught with the allure of the familiar, the comfort of the role they've known. As we peel back these layers, consider this. Where do you see yourself in this narrative? Have you ever felt compelled to adopt a persona because it was what others loved, even if it wasn't truly you? In NSYNC's story, we see reflections of our own, a reminder of the universal struggle between the person and the role, between authenticity and acceptance. As you ponder these questions, look inward. Where in your life are you playing a role, and what would it mean to step into your true self? The conversation doesn't end here, it begins within you. The journey toward authenticity is often fraught with internal conflicts and external pressures, much like the ones faced by the members of NSYNC as they navigated their unprecedented fame. Each member, consciously or unconsciously, grappled with their Enneagram types, which dictated not only their public personas, but also their private battles. For instance, Justin Timberlake, with his likely Enneagram Type 3, the achiever, was driven by a need for success and admiration. This core desire shaped not just his career trajectory, but also his personal identity. The achiever's shadow loomed large, manifesting in the fear of failure and the relentless pursuit of excellence, sometimes at the expense of personal relationships. This internal dynamic was mirrored in the group's interactions, wherein J.C. Chases, potentially a Type 4, the individualist, sought uniqueness and authenticity in a world that demanded conformity and consistency. His struggle was one of balancing creative expression with the commercial demands of the group. The individualist's shadow often revolves around feelings of inadequacy and envy, particularly when their contributions are overshadowed by others. For JC, the stage was both a platform and a battleground, where his artistry met the machinery of pop manufacturing. The ecosystem of NSYNC wasn't merely a collection of individual aspirations, but a microcosm of the music industry's broader psychological play. Lance Bass, Chris Kirkpatrick, and Joey Fatone each played vital roles that complemented and complicated the group dynamic. Lance, perhaps a type 6, the loyalist, embodied the need for security and support. His journey underscored the tension between loyalty to the group and the desire for personal growth, a common plight in collective enterprises. The loyalist's challenge is often about overcoming self-doubt and trusting their own abilities, a struggle that was evident in Lance's later ventures into space travel and business, ventures that ultimately demanded him to step beyond the confines of his established boy band identity. Chris Kirkpatrick, possibly a type 7, the enthusiast, faced his own set of trials. Known for bringing energy and humor, his underlying fear of being trapped or deprived might have pushed him towards seeking constant novelty and excitement, sometimes overlooking deeper emotional needs. Joey Fatone, with his probable type 9 the peacemaker nature, brought harmony to the group, often smoothing over conflicts and ensuring cohesion. However, the peacemaker's shadow lies in the tendency to avoid conflict and suppress personal desires to maintain peace, which can lead to a loss of self in accommodating others. His later forays into acting and reality TV showcased the courage required to assert individual potential beyond familiar roles. These archetypal narratives resonate beyond NSYNC, echoing in our own lives. The hero's journey, as Joseph Campbell might describe it, is not just about grand adventures, but the subtle, profound quest for authenticity. The shadow, trickster, and mentor archetypes played out within the group's dynamics, reflecting broader societal patterns. In embracing the shadow, both individually and collectively, there lies the potential for transformation. The trickster, often seen in the playful, unpredictable elements of their performances, served as a reminder of the chaos underlying creativity, the disruption necessary for growth. The mentor archetype, perhaps embodied by their management or the industry itself, highlighted the tension between guidance and control, pushing them toward maturity while also restraining their true selves. For all of us, this complexity invites reflection on who we allow to guide us and how we balance external advice with internal truth. This interplay of archetypes, Enneagram dynamics, and personal journeys invites a deeper inquiry into how we too engage with the roles imposed upon us by society, family, and our inner narratives. The path toward integration and individuation, as Carl Jung would suggest, involves not just acknowledging our shadows, but befriending them, allowing them to inform our growth rather than dictate our fears. NSYNC's story is not merely one of pop legend, but of human experience, a tapestry woven with the threads of ambition, fear, camaraderie, and the relentless quest for self-understanding. It challenges us to look beyond the surface, to question the personas we craft, and to dare to step into the fullness of our being, unshackled by the expectations of others. As you reflect on your own narrative, consider what roles you play and how they align with your authentic self. What shadows do you need to confront, and what would true integration look like for you? The answers lie not in the cacophony of external validation, but in the quiet, persistent whisper of your internal truth.